Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. My name is Laura. I am the happiness coach, and today I'm really excited to do a video about how I met my twin flame. So this is about using the law of attraction and using the law of action and meeting that person. So I've had a few requests for this video and I thought I would really love to do it because I think that it's important to see more about my life, more about me, and how this happened for me. So let's begin. I met my twin flame 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and we met through very interesting circumstances. At the time we were both single, and I was living with my mum because I had gotten out of a relationship about 8 months prior and didn't have anywhere else to go, and he was doing his thing, and I had gotten myself into a really good place, so I was very happy with my life. I felt very free, I felt very liberated, I felt very eager for life. I was doing all the things that I loved. I was training, I was weight training at the gym. I was spending loads of time with my friends that were important to me. I was spending time with my family. Work was good at the time, and I was just in a really good place. Now, what happened was, just before meeting him, work for me started to get a little bit tiresome. I wasn't being treated the way that I wanted to be treated, and of course this manifested. So I was struggling a little bit, and I used to do a lot of driving because I used to do a lot of work that I had to get to different places. Sometimes I was driving sort of 2 or 3 hours at a time to get to where I needed to be, and it was a lot of work, and I would use that car time to just be in my own head. Now, I knew about the law of attraction because I learned about it a couple of years ago, but I didn't really, although I used it a lot when I first discovered it, I didn't use it majorly throughout my life. At this point, I was just enjoying myself and enjoying my life. And what started to happen was that I started to get this vision of this person, this man. I started creating the idea of this man. Now, it was funny because depending on what my mood was and where my vibration was would depend on the type of vision I would have. So sometimes I would visualize this man who was, in a business suit, and we were in New York together, which is somewhere I always wanted to go, and we were, holding hands in Central Park. I was meeting him at work. We were just having a bit of a life there. Sometimes that was what I would visualize. Then other times I would visualize things like being on the beach with him playing the guitar. I used to visualize him playing the guitar a lot. I visualized that everyone really loved him, and they always wanted him at their party, they always wanted him at their house, because he was like the life and soul of the party. He was a kind, gentle man, but he was fun, and he was just, everyone liked to be around him. So I'd visualize that sometimes, and always visualize him being a gentleman. I never really visualized anything too intimate, because to me, he was just very gentle, and I never really, whenever the visions that I used to think about were more sort of him being just being a gentleman, basically. That's what I used to visualize. So I had that image in my head, and loads of other things. One of them was dancing in Central Park. So I used to visualize different scenarios with that. Sometimes it would rain and he'd give me his coat. Sometimes it would be sunny and I'd be wearing a little dress. Sometimes we were just laughing. And so I just visualized those different things. I always visualized colours. I visualized the colour red a lot. And I visualized me wearing red, or him wearing red. And also the image of him, as I visualized more and more, became more obvious, to me. So to me, he'd always be wearing a checkered shirt for some reason. I think I had a thing for checkered shirts at the time. He'd always be wearing a checkered shirt, and he'd always have the sleeves rolled up, and he had tattoos, and he had quite a good physique, because I'm really into my fitness and my weight training, so he had a good strong physique. And he had hair, he had all his hair, and it was kind of longer at the top and shorter on the sides, and he was just a few inches taller than me. And so this is how the image kind of came about. The more I visualised, the more I kind of created this idea of it. At the time, I used to visualise us in New York mainly. That's what we were doing. We had a house there and things like that. This was not something I was doing all the time. I wasn't sitting there going, okay, this is my time to visualise. It was more like daydreaming in a sense. I would think about him on my way to work, and sometimes I'd lay in bed and just think about him for 5 minutes. To me, because the longer I did it, to me he became a real person. I genuinely felt like he was someone that existed, and I would say to myself when I was driving, I have the most amazing husband. And when I said this, I genuinely meant it, because what I meant when I said it was, wow, I have created the idea of the most amazing husband, and to me he was. So this is what happened. My job became very strenuous. I wasn't enjoying it. I phoned my brother on the way to work. I had a 3-hour drive ahead of me. I said how much I was not liking it and I was struggling with it, and he said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, you know what I want to do? I've always wanted to go to New York. I love New York. I want to live there, etc. That's what I want to do. He said, well, why don't you just do it then, Laura? Just get a credit card or something, or take all your savings and just go. I'm an Aries, so I'm very impulsive, and I go with, this benefits me because it means I always go with my intuition, and I always go with what feels right. And at the time I was charged up to leave. So I walked in, I went to my boss and said, I'm leaving. I was very excited about this. 2 weeks later, I was on Instagram. I was scrolling through the search bar, and of course it comes up with all the people that you have common interests with. So this man popped up. I clicked on his video. He was American, and there's something about him. I was like, I like him. He's funny. So I went through his page and I liked some photos and I followed him. So what I did is I went home and I left a comment on one of his photos, just asking a general fitness question, and he responded quite quickly. And it was kind of like a celebrity replying to me. I was like, oh my god, he responded to my email. I went onto Instagram and saw that I had a private message. So I went on there and it was him. And he just said, you look really great. I hope you're, enjoying what you're doing. Keep it up. And then he said, well, have a great day. And I thought, please don't leave. I really want to speak to you more. I really like you. Do not leave. I went to my messages and I saw that I had a message from him. And the message said this: I would tell you I love you, but that would be a lie. And I thought, and even to this day now, I do not understand what that means. We joke about this now, because obviously he does love me. But I remember thinking, what is this? And he just said, I was like, I really don't know, but that's fine. He's talking to me. So we were chatting and joking about it, everything. That was 2 years ago nearly. We met in August. We haven't gone a day since without speaking. We just fell in love. Of course, I had my New York trip booked and I was going for a month. He said to me, it would be a shame if we never got to meet. And with that, he asked if he could fly over to New York from where he was in California to meet me. I had 4 days on my own before he flew in. And I remember the day he flew in, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to wear, and I was nervous. And he flew in, I think he got in about 2 o'clock. There was a lot of waiting for him. He had booked a hotel and he booked a car. The car didn't show up. He was waiting, and in the end, he managed to find another driver who brought him in. And he was taking photos, like selfies, as he was getting closer. And I was thinking, oh my god, I know where he is, because I walked down there yesterday. He was getting closer and closer. Then he got to my apartment and rang the bell. And my apartment had one of those screens, where you can see the person that's downstairs. And I pressed the button and I could see him wearing his orange cap. He'd always wear an orange cap. So to me, it was like watching a video, which I've seen so many videos of him, but he was downstairs. So I raced downstairs and opened the door, and there he was. And we hugged and we kissed like we'd always done that. And his lips were trembling, I remember that. It was very romantic, it was very sweet. And we probably then just talked for, I don't know how many hours we talked for. We talked all through the night, till about 2 or 3 in the morning, I think, until we couldn't keep our eyes open anymore. And I remember thinking, I don't want to go to sleep because I want to be in this moment forever. And we actually fell asleep in the end, face to face on my bed with our lips touching. We fell asleep like that, and then we slept like that through the whole night, just our lips like this. And it's been like that ever since. I mean, he's just the most amazing man I could have ever met. He's perfect. And when we were in New York, we shared many of the moments together that I had visualised. So on the second night, we went out for dinner on the Upper West Side, and he leaned in towards the end and he said, can I take you to Central Park because I really want to dance with you. So we walked up to the park and we were dancing, slow dancing near the grass, and it started to rain, and he sheltered me and helped me, and we walked back to the apartment soaking wet. This is something that I visualised very specifically. I do remember this. A bit about him, he is in banking, so when I met him, he'd wear his suit to work, but he was also in a band, and he plays the guitar. He's an amazing voice. He has written me many songs, which I used to think about too. I remember he wears checkered shirts. He loves a good checkered shirt. He's covered in tattoos. He wears his sleeves rolled up. His hair is always longer at the front, and he's just it's funny, he looks the same as what I visualised. So when I met him, I was like, oh, there you are, I know you. And he felt the same. For me, he's my encourager, he's my best friend, he's my lover, he's everything. Thank you for listening to this long story. That is how I met my twin flame. I do twin flame coaching one-to-one. You can find my emails on Veronica's website. Under coaching packages, you'll see me at the bottom. And if you want to have coaching on how to meet your twin flame, or how to make it work with your twin flame, how to be with your twin flame, then you can email me. My email address is laura@veronicaisles.com. So I look forward to working with you all and to hearing back from you and getting you to a place that you would like to be.